The COSATU Workers' Day rally in Mbombela has become one of the most defining and explosive political events of the year in South Africa, not because of routine speeches celebrating the working class, but because of the fiery confrontation that unfolded between Solly Mapaila of the South African Communist Party and President Cyril Ramaphosa of the African National Congress. What began as a day set aside to honor workers quickly turned into a sharp, highly charged political debate that has revealed the deep cracks and simmering tensions within South Africa's Tripartite Alliance. The events that transpired at that rally are not just about speeches or disagreements, they touch the very core of South Africa's political direction, the nature of alliances that shape governance, and ultimately, the future of the working class itself. To understand why Solly Mapaila's condemnation of the Government of National Unity was so significant, we need to step back and revisit the historical foundation on which these relationships were built. The Tripartite Alliance, made up of the ANC, the SACP, and COSATU, was forged in the fires of struggle against apartheid. It was an alliance grounded on the shared objective of fighting injustice, inequality, and oppression. COSATU, as the country's largest trade union federation, represented workers' rights and economic justice, while the SACP brought Marxist-Leninist ideology into the fold, pushing for socialism and the dismantling of the capitalist structures entrenched during apartheid. The ANC, as the broad liberation movement, anchored these forces in political leadership. For decades, this alliance held together despite occasional tensions, because their core objectives appeared aligned: economic empowerment of the poor, transformation of society, and upliftment of the working class. Over time, however, as South Africa transitioned into a democratic society and as the ANC governed for decades, shifts began to emerge. The ANC's approach to governance started incorporating elements of neoliberalism, privatization, and global capitalism, policies that did not always sit comfortably with its leftist allies. COSATU and the SACP frequently voiced concerns but remained part of the alliance for strategic reasons. Now, the introduction of the Government of National Unity, an arrangement that includes the Democratic Alliance and other centrist or right-wing parties, has brought those tensions back into sharp focus. When Solly Mapaila took the stage at the COSATU rally, his voice carried more than just frustration, it carried the accumulated anger and disappointment of left-wing activists who believe that their long-standing struggle for workers is being diluted and even betrayed. His argument was simple but powerful: the GNU, by partnering with parties like the DA, is forming alliances with those who fundamentally oppose the ethos of workers' rights and socialist transformation. The DA, long criticized by leftists for representing business interests and historically perceived as defending privilege, is not a natural partner for a movement rooted in the working class struggle. By including such parties in the GNU, Mapaila argued, the ANC is compromising its historical mission and abandoning the very people it once vowed to liberate. The crowd's reaction to Mapaila's words was telling. Applause, banner waving, and cheers came from many COSATU and SACP supporters. It was clear that his sentiments resonated deeply with those who feel the working class is once again being asked to sacrifice in the name of political expediency. His assertion that the GNU is a neoliberal project was not just rhetoric, it was an accusation that the ANC is now leaning towards policies that prioritize market stability and business confidence at the expense of social justice and economic equality. On the other side of this political drama stood President Ramaphosa, waiting in the wings. His demeanor was calm, but the challenge he faced was massive. Taking the stage after such a fiery denunciation, Ramaphosa sought to defend the GNU as a necessary strategy in a complex, diverse society where political consensus is critical to maintaining stability. He argued that the coalition was not about abandoning core values but about working together with all sectors of society, even those with differing ideologies, to advance national interests. His emphasis was on unity, collaboration, and pragmatism. However, the contrast between Mapaila's ideological purity and Ramaphosa's political pragmatism could not have been starker. While Ramaphosa's argument made sense from a governance perspective, ensuring that no single faction dominates and that political conflict does not paralyze the country, it did not address the deeper grievances of those who feel that over time, workers' issues have been sidelined, promises unfulfilled, and inequalities deepened. This clash is not just a momentary dispute but a reflection of a bigger question facing South African politics: can the ANC maintain its historical alliances while navigating the complexities of governing in a multi-party democracy with diverse interests? For COSATU and the SACP, the inclusion of parties like the DA signals a clear departure from the struggle narrative and a shift towards centrist governance that places less emphasis on redistributive policies. Their frustration lies in the fear that once again, compromises will be made that dilute labor rights, weaken collective bargaining, and prioritize economic growth without ensuring equitable distribution. For Ramaphosa and his supporters, the GNU is an attempt to stabilize a fragmented political landscape where no single party holds overwhelming dominance and where collaboration, even with ideological opposites, is needed to move the country forward. Both positions have merits but are inherently in conflict. What happens next could shape South Africa's political future in profound ways. If the SACP and COSATU feel increasingly alienated, we could see a realignment of political forces. There have been murmurs in recent years about the SACP contesting elections independently, and if COSATU withdraws support from the ANC, it would weaken the ruling party's grassroots machinery significantly. On the other hand, if the ANC recalibrates its approach and finds ways to reassure its allies, there is a possibility of maintaining a fragile unity that can at least carry through to the next elections. The risks are high, and the stakes even higher. As ordinary South Africans watch these developments, many are wondering what this means for their everyday lives. Will workers' rights be eroded? Will political instability grow? Or will this heated debate force much-needed dialogue about returning to the foundational promises of social justice, equality, and empowerment? Only time will tell, but what is clear is that Solly Mapaila's speech has reignited a conversation that has been simmering beneath the surface for years. If you made it to this point, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more detailed breakdowns like this. Also, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the ANC should continue with the GNU, or should they reconsider their alliances to preserve the Tripartite Alliance's legacy? Drop your comments below and let's get the discussion going. This unfolding tension signals not just an ideological clash but a possible realignment of South Africa's political alliances, with long-term consequences that could reshape the nation's governance landscape for years to come.